We have another young man that's from the Galveston National Library, and Dr. Bouyer is going to speak to us for the next couple of minutes, and he's got some exciting stuff that he's going to share with you, so be tentative, and let's have a great time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So to jump in and tell you a little bit about my personal background, I know you're going to be asked this later on. I'm originally from Alabama. I went to a school called Paramount High School, and we had 800 students in the whole school. So we would have, my friends would drop off their little brother and sister in first grade, walk down the hall, and they'd go to the 12th grade. I went from there, and I went from Stillman College, which had about 1,200 students, and I got a PhD in microbiology from Harry Medical College, about 600 students. One of the key points about this is that I always like to tell people, you don't have to go to the big schools or you can go from a little small school. And that school, Paramount High School, was rural. We had farmland all around us, and the school in the middle, and maybe a gas station next door. So I went from there to earn my PhD. So you can start from wherever you want to go where you need to go. So with infectious disease, one of the things I want to know is how does the disease, what are the mechanisms, the pathogenic mechanisms, or how the disease cause us to get sick, okay? If I understand that, then we can do vaccine development. Because right now, you go to the doctor, you get the flu vaccine, you get MMR, you get mumps, you get the whole thing. Well, one of the things that we're working on is that eventually we'll want to make maybe one vaccine. You go to the doctor, you get one vaccine, and that's it. I know I'd be happy if I only had one vaccine, go to the doctor one time, and that's it. But my special interest is in vector-borne diseases. Now, when I refer to vector-borne diseases, what I'm referring to is an insect or arthropod that can transmit a disease. And by that I mean a virus or bacteria. And these are some of the examples of what we refer to as vectors. You can have mosquitoes, you can have lice, fleas, and ticks. All of these can transmit disease. And you've probably heard of some of the diseases that's been transmitted. How many guys have heard of West Nile? Okay. From mosquitoes, excellent. Dengue. Sometimes they call it breakbone fever because they said when you're infected with dengue, you hurt so bad it feels like your bones are breaking. That's transmitted by mosquitoes. Yellow fever, malaria, leishmania, Lyme disease. How many of you have heard of Lyme disease? Cool. And what I work on is Rocky Mountain spotted fever and typhus. And these are tick and flea-borne. How are these diseases transmitted to hosts? And there's usually a couple of ways. One is through feeding. So here you see a couple of pictures, a couple of cartoons, where a tick is actually biting into the skin, is hitting one of the blood vessels in the skin, the capillary, and as it's feeding, it's injecting the bacteria. It's saliva. It's saliva, yeah. Excellent. Because what it does, and this might be kind of gross, I'm sorry, early on Saturday morning, because what it will do, a tick will feed by, it will ingest some blood and then regurgitate. You guys know what regurgitate is? Throw it up. So ingest and regurgitate, ingest and regurgitate, until when it's finally ready to finish feeding, it takes what's called a big sip. And it feeds about 3-4 days. And when it feeds, it also secretes proteins that you can't feel a tick feeding on. Yes, sir? That's with mosquitoes. With ticks, the males and the females will do it. Okay, now I'm going to show you some tick eggs real later. And here you can actually see a tick getting ready to burrow into the skin. Now, another way that that diseases are transmitted is by pooping. Okay, especially with the smaller insects like lice or fleas, you can actually feel those when they bite you, right? So, how many of you, when you have a insect bite, the first thing you want to do is what? Scratch it. Okay, and what do your parents tell you? Don't scratch. Because that's what happens. You see these droplets of blood here? That contains the bacteria that we work with. So when they eat and they have a short digestive tract, so they can't really digest the food, so they waste a lot of it. So when you start scratching, you start rubbing the bacteria or virus in your skin, and that's how you get infected. So key point is what? Don't scratch. Where do our ticks come from that we work with? Well, they come from a couple of different places. One is that we lab rear them, which means that we grow them from eggs. They're almost like our pets, and we just maintain them. We have 13 going to use for our experiments. That's not as good as having a goldfish or a dog or a cat as a pet, is it? Another is from field collection. So a lot of time, if we hear about a disease outbreak somewhere, we will actually go to that location and we will collect ticks or mosquitoes, and we'll maintain them to do our studies. So with the lab-bred ticks, we actually we keep it through all of the life cycle, from the eggs to larvae, nymphs, and to adults. And we will maintain these and keep this life cycle going. We use specialized containers, and the key thing when working in these labs, you use multiple containers. We will keep them in a special jar with special chemicals to maintain humidity they like, which is similar to what they would have outside. We will keep that in a incubator, which can hold the temperature. They were going to collect ticks, and the dog in the area thought they were playing a game, so the dog would grab the pole every time they would try to drag a tick. So then they tried to get the dog, so okay, we'll just put a stick in the dog's mouth and let him run with it and see if he could collect ticks. Didn't work that well. He thought he was playing a game, so he would drag the stick and he would drop it and he would run back and go grab it. So he thought they were playing fetch. Now, another way that we collect ticks is by using what's called a CO2 trap. And ticks are attracted to CO2. That's what you exhale when you breathe. So what we will do is we will take a cup and we fill this cup full of dry ice, and we put tape all around it, and we will just stick it under shrubs, under grasses. And as the CO2 starts escaping, the ticks start falling down because they think it's an animal coming by, and they get stuck on the tape. And you can actually see, you can see ticks. Actually, I have a pretty cool picture. So you can actually see the ticks here, and you can see some that's stuck on the tape. Okay. And what they do once they collect them, then they'll go in and start pulling them off the tape, and we'll identify them and store them. Another type of field collection is a direct collection. This one is a little more risky, but a lot of time we will go, and if there are horses or cows or animals, we will go to the animals and we will pull the ticks off them. And here you can see there's a friendly little puppy. And what they found is that here inside of the puppy's ear, you can see several ticks. So we actually collected those ticks from the puppy. The ticks on the puppy. When they're full like this, they don't really bite. Once they're full, they just sort of want to go somewhere and rest and lay eggs. Okay? And again, once they do it, what we will do when we're in the field, we will take tape, just like regular masking tape. But duct tape is a little strong. We use masking tape because the glue is not as strong as duct tape. And we will just put the ticks there and they won't be able to move. And that's how and then we put them in a bag and we'll transport them back to the lab. I'll try not to. In some cases we do for some of our experiments, but for a lot of these we want to keep them going so we can do research on them. Now, this is the size of the tick. This is from a nymph all the way to unfed adults and fed adults. And here you can see nymphs, unfed and fed, larvae, unfed and fed adults, and fed adults. Okay? And like typically in science, in nature, the female is larger than the male, so here's the female and here's the male. Now, this is a colleague of mine who works in Brazil. So he says this is the world's largest tick. This is a tick that a fed tick that he collected off of a sloth. It's about an inch in size. When he first showed it to me, I thought it was a grape or a fruit. It looks strange. So you can see, look, okay, there's his eye, and then he's holding this right here, so you can see this is pretty big. And you see how excited he is. Ticks, he loves it. I know he was trying to convince his wife to let him get a tick tattoo on his back. I don't know how that works. How the tick can transmit the bacteria. So we do what's called feeding. So here is a close-up. We have this is actually the skin of a mouse, and we shade some of the fur from the mouse so we could actually see the ticks. No, it's alive. So what we will do, we will anesthetize it or put it to sleep, and then we will shade it, and then we will put the ticks on it in a special little capsule. So what we will do is that we will infect the mouse with the bacteria that we're interested in, and then we will take ticks that aren't infected to see if they can pick up the infection from the mouse. So here you can see a couple of ticks. You notice you can see the head of this tick, and you can really see the head of this tick, but here you can't really see it. These are actually getting ready to feed, and what they will do is that they will walk and they will find an area with blood vessels, and then they will bury their heads. So they bury their heads, and then their butt sort of stick up. Okay, so that's how they do and how they feed. Okay, and once they do that, they'll take a blood meal, and if you saw them, you saw how flat they were. So here they're feeding, and you see them getting bigger, sort of looking like raisins. And this is sort of dry blood and skin cells. Okay, and then when they're finished feeding, they will just disengage. They will go find somewhere to rest. Okay. So after feeding, the adult female will start laying eggs. So they will lay over 2,000 eggs, and depending on the species, they will lay between 2,000 and 5,000. And here you can see here's a female laying eggs, and you can see the egg clutch will be about the size of the female. Now, once the female lays eggs, She devotes her entire body to the laying of eggs, and she dies after that. But here just some different egg masses. And here you can see, I thought it was cool. Here you can see like the baby chicks inside of the eggs.
That's not like a really short lifespan.
For the lifespan of a chick, usually you're talking about a year.
Oh, definitely.
No, that's not long at all. Other questions, or you guys want to see some of the fun stuff that I brought?
Fun stuff.
Fun stuff? Okay, I'm not sure how we're doing on time. Do we have?
About 5 minutes.
All right, let's step back here. Now, if you talk to someone from NASA, they say this is not a space suit. But what we do, we put the suit on, and you can touch it. You can see it's kind of heavy plastic. We fill this suit up with air, and it pushes air out. So this is a positive pressure suit and a negative pressure room. So if any,
Air goes through here.
no, that's a vent for when you exhale. It will lead through there. Okay, let's step over here, and I can actually show you what we refer to as a bunny suit that you can put on to work with everything. And this is
I see one of the helmets.
sure, you can see one of the helmets. All right, this is one of the helmets that we work with, and actually,
Look like one of the bee helmets.
it's almost like a bee helmet. We have a filter here. Here, let me grab a battery, and you can see we have a fan that will actually bring air in that's been filtered.
I feel it.
You feel it? Yeah.
I want to try it out. Maybe.
Okay. All right.
Where is the fan?
If the fan is up in the top.
Oh, I see.
You okay? Oh, sorry. All right. Who wants? I think you were next. All right. All right. All right. Let's pull this down a little bit.
Feel it? I feel it.
You feel it?
I feel like it's coming from the bottom.
Huh?
I feel like it's coming from the bottom. Because the air is
Yeah, it's coming from the top.